but underneath a poison face. Build your throne on shattered trust. Now your empire turns to dust. You preach your lies, you played your part, a dagger hidden in your heart. The truth is out, your crown is burned. This is the lesson you have earned. I can't believe what you've become. A shadow rotting in the sun. You fooled us all, but now you'll fall. Your shame's the loudest truth of all. Your words were chains, your smile a blade. The damage done will never fade. The crowd that once called out your name now spits it back in ash and flame. I see the cracks beneath your skin, the darkness you've been drowning in. Your kingdom's gone, the walls collapse, the world won't let you crawl back. I can't believe what you've become. A shadow rotting in the sun. You fooled us all, but now you'll fall. Your shame's the loudest truth of I can't believe what you've become. A shadow rotting in the sun. You fooled us all, but now you'll fall. Your shame's the loudest truth of all.
Alert, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bill Malusha joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Charlie, good morning to you. Our colleague David Spunton and I getting this breaking news from multiple law enforcement sources just minutes ago confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with that storming of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel. Now, typically, standard procedure with an arrest like this is the defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day. So there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his first court appearance in Los Angeles sometime today. But obviously, this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest. The woman in the middle there is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is an online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as the Woke Farmer. Those were the 3 people that the feds had already arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it that spread and drew widespread condemnation. The feds have been going after these people on FACE Act violations. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about the potential charges here, a court appearance, we'll, of course, update our viewers, guys.
Really appreciate it. Of course, if it was a grand jury that did indict him, that's pretty unimpeachable. Bill Melugin, thank you so much.
Yep.
More Fox and Friends.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. It's your old pal Grumps. Oh, fuck me. Why did I decide to do this stream? This is not my typical thing. This is not my wheelhouse. Okay? This really isn't my wheelhouse. This is not what I typically talk about. But I felt compelled, okay, just a little bit of personal family information. I have a brother, nephews who are pastors in churches, okay, families with children go to these churches. I've had brothers in law enforcement. All right. Put it this way, basically, my brothers and sisters are either pastors, church board members, or police officers. I'm the odd one. I never was any of those things. But, hey, Horace, I feel very strongly about certain things. Okay. One, you do things the right way. Okay. There is a correct way of doing everything. There's the lawful way, and there's the way that you can get arrested. Now, I am not against anybody protesting anything, really. As long as you do it right. Go protest. But do it the right way. That means, you're not out there creating confrontations. You're not out there to agitate law enforcement. That doesn't, bluntly, it doesn't achieve your goal. If anything, in modern times, okay, this isn't the fucking 60s, people. In modern times, as much as certain elements have created this divide among Americans, or at least are trying to, there is emotional tension that is so high to not expect a violent response is to be naive. All right. If you go to a protest and you're being aggressive and you're armed with a gun, or you get behind a wheel of a vehicle and you make movements towards law enforcement, expect a lethal response. This is not pro-ICE. This is not anti-ICE. This is just simple facts. Law enforcement is to protect the public from a threat. That constitutes the fact that if that threat is going against law enforcement, it equates to being a public threat. So if you are armed or get behind a vehicle and you move that vehicle towards a law enforcement officer, you will be shot. If you go to a gun, if you have a gun on you and you go to a protest and you disobey the instruction by law enforcement and they see a gun, you will be shot. Because at the end of the day, there's two things law enforcement are trained to do. One, to protect the public. If you're willing to reach towards a gun and law enforcement is there, and that's all that's around you, you have become a threat to the public. And two, they are trained to survive, to eliminate a threat towards them. No, this whole movie thing where police officers are shoot to wound, that's just fucking Hollywood. Police officers are trained to end a hostile threat by any means necessary. Those are facts. That ain't fucking Hollywood. When you step out, you're not going into a fucking Hollywood movie. You're in reality. And as soon as you understand what reality is, the better chances of living to see tomorrow goes up. If law enforcement tells you to do something, it is in your best interest to do it. If they tell you to stay over there, stay over there. They tell you to move back, move the fuck back. If they tell you to get the fuck out of the car, you get the fuck out of the car. And if it's a wrongful action by law enforcement, there is procedures, there is a process to correct it. You do not correct these things by getting behind a fucking wheel of a 5-ton vehicle and moving towards a federal officer. ICE is federal law enforcement. You don't go to a protest and be armed and disobey repeated instructions by federal law enforcement, and they notice you're armed, they put you on the ground and you reach for something. Okay, they're not going to wait for you to pull out pull out whatever you're reaching for. If they know that you have a gun, they're going to take you down. Because they can't read your fucking mind. All they know is you are armed and you're a threat, and they're going to end that threat. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking nurse. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking priest. Okay? It doesn't matter how good a person you are. It doesn't matter if you're a father of 5. All they see is a threat. They don't know your life fucking stories. They don't know your intentions. Unless you verbalize it and say, I have a gun on me. And they'll tell you, keep your hands behind your back, and they'll get the gun themselves. Now let's talk about Don Lemon real fast. Okay. Don Lemon is a quote-unquote journalist who helped with a protest inside a place of worship. All right. As you can see, when I played that story, that he took part of a part of a protest inside of a place of worship over ICE. These people went inside of a church. Shocker. Christian church. It wasn't a mosque. It wasn't a synagogue. It wasn't the church of a satanic church, but no, of course, a Christian church. Because, of course it is. And disrupted the service, got in people's faces, people with their children there. Children were crying. And no other way to be put it, they were terrorized by these people. And I can't fucking believe this. That people are like, these people need to be set free. Why? They broke the fucking law. There are federal laws to prevent this. Is to uphold your right of freedom of religion. That you will not be persecuted for worshiping your religion. That means places of worship, which is private property, by the way. It's owned by the church. It's not public land. It ain't your fucking street outside. It's private property. So and to march into a place of worship that is private property doesn't protect you as a journalist. You have now technically breaking and entering. Even most churches are open to the public, okay, to worship. Peacefully, typically. None of these people in that church had anything to do with ICE. It had the pastor was not up there preaching about ICE. He was preaching the word of God. No, the word of God. And if you know, I know this is like, some of you is going to be shocked by this. Know what the main message of the Bible is? If you can read the whole Bible, and you can cherry pick scripture from there, but the main message of the Bible is peace and love. whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God. This is not. It's not that. It's the Bible. What is the message of the Bible? Is peace and love, which is like the same. It's like truth. You can say the same thing about the Quran. You can say the same thing about the Torah. It's about peace and love and respecting each other. And that's what they were there worshiping. This isn't like that Baptist church that goes to fucking and protest and say that this person who died is going to hell. It wasn't that fucking church. You got the FACE Act, which is the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrance Act, protects the exercise of religious freedom at places of worship. It prohibits the use of force, the threat of force, or physical obstruction to intentionally to interfere with religious services. That is federal law. It's the fucking law. That means a journalist can't walk in and disrupt a religious service in a church on private property. You can't. It's against the fucking law. Okay? Now, as you heard in the story, judges refused to sign off an arrest warrant against Don Lemon. In my personal opinion, these judges need to be removed from the bench because they're cherry picking laws that they want to enforce and the ones they don't want to enforce. You don't get that right when you become a judge. You don't get that right when you become an elected official. You swore to uphold the law. Not just the ones you like. All of them. You swore to uphold the law. Judges swore to enforce the law. Not just the ones they like. All of them. And if someone breaks the law, or there's evidence they have broken the law, and law enforcement comes to you and says, we have proof that we have evidence that they have broken the law, sign this warrant, and there is, in this particular case, clear evidence that he had broken the law. They just need to write their fucking name on an arrest warrant. These judges didn't want to do that. Why? Well, because it wouldn't be a popular thing. Or they don't agree with it. Or they don't like Trump. Or they don't like ICE. It's a political statement. When you become a judge, in my opinion, you don't get the right to make a political statement. You are there to help enforce the fucking law. All of them. We are a nation of laws. These laws are designed, one, to keep us safe. And if someone breaks those laws, they are to be punished. All of them. No matter what the fucking law is, they are to be punished. It is a measure of deterrent. It's a preventative measure from preventing you so you won't break the law. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm a little fucking irritated. You don't get to pick which laws you're going to follow and which ones you're not going to follow, right? You don't get to pick. Now, you can protest what you feel is an unjust law. Peacefully protest against an unjust law. So in other words, I'm saying that you lawfully protest it. You don't get in law enforcement's face. You don't get violent. You don't throw shit at law enforcement, because that's, you know what? That's the quickest way of getting shot, by the way. Or get, pepper sprayed, which is, hand it to ICE. They're not going around shooting people every time they throw shit at them. They use pepper spray to, end it where people didn't die. Okay? Until they were actually threatened with basically bodily harm, they reach for their fucking gun. And in a lot of cases, they don't do that. They still go for the pepper spray. People have thrown bricks, rocks at ICE. And they didn't just whip out the M16 and just spray the crowd and kill everybody. We had 2 shootings. Comparative to what you see videos online for months of people throwing rocks, bricks, and other things at law enforcement. You never seen ICE or any other law enforcement get out of their vehicles with machine guns and just mowing people down. 2. Not hundreds of thousands. 2. It's regrettable that 2 people have died. But until all the investigations into those shootings are complete, no one should make a judgment, because one, you weren't in that situation. You don't know for a fact what happened. You're seeing all these fucking videos online. I hate to tell you this. ICE has body cams. And the body cam footage has not been released. It's a requirement with all law enforcement now to have body cameras. Now, what are you going to do, and what are you going to say if the body camera footage comes out, like with the one with the vehicle, if it shows that woman, and you can hear the engine rev and the car goes forward to that officer that was in front of that vehicle, and he shoots her after repeated attempts of telling her to get out of the car? You're going to say it was not justified? I'll tell you what, if you feel that way, you get a friend, have your friend get in the driver's seat in an SUV, and you stand in front of it and let him drive over you. And don't move, by the way. Tell me you wouldn't be scared. Tell me that you wouldn't worry about if you're going to live or die. Here's a better one. Get in a position where you see someone with a gun, you trying to, arrest them, and they reach for something, which most likely, possibly, could be a gun to shoot you with. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and go, oh, please, oh, please, don't shoot me. I just want to put handcuffs on you. Or are you going to take action to protect yourself? I mean, let's be real here. If it was a private citizen and someone breaks into their house and they shoot them, most people are fine with that because, self-defense. And here's the funny thing is, someone breaks into your house and they have a gun and the homeowner shoots them, it doesn't fucking matter if that gun is loaded or not. Because the house owner that basically killed that guy doesn't know if the gun is loaded or not. You have the right to protect yourself from bodily harm. That doesn't just apply to your average citizen. It also applies to law enforcement. They have a right to protect themselves. You have a constitutional right to go worship your religion in peace. It's in the Bill of Rights, for those of you who don't know. That's why most churches are private property. No one has a right to disrupt your religious practice. All right? Why didn't Don Lemon storm a mosque or a synagogue? You want to know why? He'd be called out for being anti-Muslim or anti-Semitic. Of course, he went to a Christian church. These people went to a Christian church because everybody thinks Christians are evil. They sit there and terrorize people who just wanted to practice their religion in peace. They brought their kids. You can see it in the footage. The kids were crying and they were terrorized. Their parents were holding them, like sitting there going, it's going to be okay. But these people were getting up in their fucking faces going, why aren't they out there protesting against ICE? Because they're practicing their fucking religion. Don Lemon, do you really think Don Lemon cared about the ICE issue? No. No, what he cares about? Himself. Because this wasn't about ICE. It was about him becoming a quote-unquote symbol. Don Lemon has been instigating the public, not just against law enforcement, but against each other. He wants people to kill each other. He wants violence. He wants blood, because if it bleeds, it leads the nightly news. And that is the truth. Journalists are supposed to look for the truth. They aren't supposed to be reporting their opinion. They're supposed to find and report on facts and the truth. And it hasn't been that way for the last 60 fucking years. The national news is about manipulating the narrative. It isn't about the truth. It's about manipulating the narrative to make you all sheep, so you believe wherever they feel like feeding you. Oh, Republicans are Nazis. And there are people who will watch the fucking news and believe that. Oh, this poor illegal immigrant, he did nothing wrong other than not harm children, beat up the elderly, stole money, walks down the street and punches women in the face. He did nothing wrong. Other than the fact that he already broke the law when he was here because he came here illegally. I've stated this. Not every person that's being arrested by ICE is a bad person. But they have broken the law. Hence the word illegal. If they're here illegally, they need to go back and come back the right way. This is just because they get deported doesn't mean they can't come back, but they have to come back the right way. They have to follow the procedures to enter this country. Is it going to be a lot more difficult? Yes, because they already broke the law once. And once again, this is the same around the world. You can't cross another country's boundaries just because you felt like doing it that day. You have to follow procedure. I know this is a shocking thing for you all, apparently for some of you. You just cannot get in a boat and just sail across the ocean and just walk into England without a tourist visa or work visa or some kind of reason for you to be there, and that they're aware of it and you have been vetted to verify that that's the reason why you're there. That's the reason why you have countries have fucking passports. Because it's the law. It's the fucking law. If you don't like the law, instead of going after ICE, go after your representative. Protest them. Try to get them to change the fucking law. Because, I'll be honest, the way these people are doing, it's not going to change jack shit. You tell me a time in history when violent protest worked, that brought lasting change. I'm waiting. I'm just curious. I mean, I'm really curious to see if anybody can come up with a incident where violent protest created lasting change. Martin Luther King didn't use violence. Gandhi didn't use violence. And they created lasting change. Don Lemon is not the next Martin Luther King. I hate to fucking tell him that. He's just a fucking egomaniacal person huffing his own farts. That's all he is. He's not even a fucking journalist because he doesn't care about the truth. He's about creating and reinforcing a narrative. He only cares about making his opinions the truth. No one's opinion is the truth. The truth is he broke the law. Right there on the screen. Federal law. FACE Act is to protect the right to practice your religion. He broke the law. It doesn't matter. He's a fucking journalist. Oh, First Amendment. Doesn't apply in this situation. Because just because he's a journalist doesn't make him above the law. Oh, we're going to do a new news story. This is Bob here. Bob is going to stand down there. I'm going to grab a RPG and shoot it at Bob and see if he can stop it with his teeth. And Bob blows up. Do you think that... Oops. He's not going to get charged with, at the very least, manslaughter? Wrongful death? I know I just used an example that's way outrageous, but this is an outrageous thing. Yeah, the KK Act is also, he also broke that law. The KK Act prevents organizations from disrupting people from practicing their religion. It was created to protect Black Baptist churches in the South in the 60s. Yeah, I posted something here. Okay. Because though over there on the trending thing, hashtag free Don Lemon was trending. I'm like, really? The guy fucking broke the law. Free Don Lemon? Really? Someone who terrorized children in a church needs not to face consequences for his actions? Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, come on. I mean, if you want to get on my bad side, terrorize kids, hurt children. I would like to think that that would be the normal response for everybody. But some of these people who are protesting the ICE, and I can't believe that there were people who wanted to free a child molester who's here, just because he was arrested by ICE. Really? Oh dear God! How can you fucking sleep at night? These are fucking kids, and we're talking about below the age of 10. And these people wanted them freed. What's wrong with you all? What's wrong with these people? I bet they wouldn't be out there fucking protesting if it happened to someone they know. You know? If it was their kids, or their brother, or their sister. Or if these people have killed one of their parents, or someone they actually give a flying fuck about, they wouldn't be out there fucking protesting them for them to be released or for them not to be arrested. They would be sitting there. He broke the law. No fucking shit. Let's really. We saw the FACE Act. I wanted. Okay, let me do this instead, because I am not going to get anywhere with this on Twitter. Okay. Uh, Okay, the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, also known as the Enforcement Act or Civil Rights Act of 1871, is a U.S. federal law enacting during the Reconstruction to combat racial violence and terrorism, primarily by the KKK. It empowered the president to use federal troops and suspend habeas corpus to protect the 14th Amendment rights, aimed at halting intimidation of black voters. All right. Purpose is to protect African Americans and Republicans in the South from violence, voter intimidation, and conspiracy that deny them civil rights. Okay, that was kind of funny. To protect Republicans. Those who don't know, here, the KKK was founded by Democrats. If you think about it, it's fucking funny. Presidential authority authorized by President Ulysses S. Grant to declare martial law, deploy the military, suspend the writ of habeas corpus to suppress KKK activity, legal action, allow victims of civil rights violations to sue in federal court for damages, specifically targeting conspiracy intent to deprive citizens of equal protection under the law. Impact led to hundreds of arrests and the effective, though temporary, dismantling of the first iteration of the Ku Klux Klan. All right. Basically, the KKK Act of 1871 is to protect people's rights to, just to protect people's rights from being violated by an organization. What happened in Minnesota in that church was a organization disrupted people's rights to practice their religion. And that does fall under the KKK Act. Doesn't matter what the fucking color of your skin is. What matters is if you violate their civil rights to practice their religion peacefully. They were just sitting in a fucking church. And Don Lemon and his cronies, which, if you saw the news report that played early on, supposedly it was organized by a woman or someone, member of a school board, apparently has a problem with Christians. It's shocking, I know. And I think they even gave themselves a name. I don't remember what their name, what the organization's name was. Organized this unlawful protest to storm a church where people are just sitting there peacefully worshiping their religion. Christians sitting there just listen to sermons, listen to the pastor quoting scripture, trying to shepherd his flock. And you have these people coming in and talking about ICE, which is not something that really, I'll be honest about it. Haven't seen anything from any religious organization publicly endorsing or coming out against ICE. Why did they go after Christians? Because if you go to a mosque or a synagogue, it will be seen as racist. All right. Well, here's the thing. No, people, if I say Christians, people are automatically going to assume it's just a bunch of white people. here's another thing. You can't be racist against white people, which is what happened there. You know what the funny thing is? All these people who are protesting against ICE are white. That's the funny thing. Yeah, there's some other minorities in there, but the majority of it is white people. It's white people, old white people, young white people, trying to relive. Some of them want to create a 60s type movement. Well, I hate to tell you, you need to crack open a fucking history book and learn how they did it in the 60s. They did it through peaceful protest, sit-ins and shit like that, or having a peaceful public rally, but you weren't, and which was, you have to get permits for this shit, by the way. It's the law, and you have to do it in an organized manner where you're not interfering with public safety or public transport. In other words, you cannot sit there and block a fucking interstate. Because one of these times, it's already happened. People will fucking run you over. They won't. It's getting to the point people aren't going to slow down anymore. All right? They're getting tired of the fuck. I might get like this. It's getting harder to say the big words. Sacrimonious, close enough. Bullshit. I'm superior because I'm I'm trying to protect this poor minority by blocking the highway and to prevent, so people realize that my superior viewpoints on the world is right, until a truck fucking runs you over. That superior attitude really fucking protected you. That's Don Lemon. You gotta understand, Don Lemon. This is a culmination of his behavior. Why was he fired from CNN? He, on air, mind you, endorsed violence against the president. Now, regardless if you like Trump or you don't like Trump, you can't fucking do that. You just fucking can't. It's against the law. People, I have said this before. You need to start thinking for yourselves. Don't take the word of anybody. Don't be a fucking sheep. Just because it's on the news, the best news to watch really is the local news. Okay? I'm not saying that they don't do their opinions, cloud some of their news stories, but most of the time when they report on local issues, it's just straightforward facts. Their opinions is not in there. They're just reporting a story. Okay, when you get to the national level, it's all fucking opinions. There's no real facts in there. Okay, the St. Louis shooting where it led to riots, where it was later turned out it was a justifiable shooting because the guy did have a fucking weapon and he was high as fuck. And the body cam footage of that police officer, it's either the body cam or the car cam, showed that he repeatedly told the guy to get on his ground. And you could see the guy had a knife in his hand. And what do you think was going to happen? But the national news made it a black and white thing, or it was a bad cop shooting a poor, innocent black man. He wasn't an innocent black man. He had a criminal record, an extensive criminal record of violence. And in turn, because the national news portrayed it the way they did, riots broke out for days. And of course, with riots, everybody went to the fucking Target, looted the fucking Target, looted fucking Walmart and all these stores, looted mom and pop businesses. Black owned businesses, mind you, by the way. Until like you'll see, if you were watching the news or aware of it, black business owners stood in front of their stores with guns. It's like, come on, motherfuckers, I'll shoot every one of you. Okay. And in turn, costs, but you guys got to understand something. People like Don Lemon, Don Lemon, want discourse, want us at each other's throats, because it gives him something to report on, to sit there and going, hey, protest, evil, Republicans are Nazis. Yeah, you're doing right. More death. Terrorize the kids too while you're at it. That's what they want, so they can have more news stories. The national news, the mainstream media, let's put it that way, if you want to put it that way, want discord, because if there was world peace, they would have nothing to fucking do. You know how short the news would be if it was world peace? Oh, fire department rescued 13 kittens from a tree. Police kicked a puppy. I'm sure they would fucking do that if it was world peace. If everybody got along, there was no violence, no nothing. They will probably make up a story about a cop kicking a puppy. I swear they fucking would. Don Lemon would be there reporting, trying to interview the puppy. Because they want us at each other's throats. Because, for job security reasons. And they don't fucking care about the truth. They don't. It's not in their best interest to report on the truth. The only time they report on the truth about something that their narrative lines up with is when they don't have a choice. In other words, it's no big secret. Mainstream media, your CNNs, your NBCs, your CBSs, all those stations are liberal. Okay. Do you think they're going to report on a liberal politician that has done something wrong with the same veracity as they will report on a Republican? No. It won't have that extensive coverage as they do with Republicans. Now, mind you, I have stated this multiple times. I think all politicians are scumbags. I don't identify as Democrat or Republican. I identify myself as an American. That's my party. So if you go around saying you're a Democrat, you're saying yourself you're a Republican or you're independent or whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, you're missing the fucking point. You are an American. That's your tribe. Because guess what? We're all in this together. No one sector of the American society can do it all by themselves. We have to work together. In order to move forward, we move forward together. We can't move forward separately. We may not always agree with each other, but we have to agree on this one simple thing. Society moves forward together. And Don Lemon doesn't want that. Because if people realize that and actually start doing it, well, Don Lemon will be out of a job. He will have nothing to report. No. As simple as that. He will have nothing to report on anymore. Because people will wake up and realize that people like Don Lemon has been lying to them, saying that he was reporting the truth when it was just all his fucking opinion, to instigate violence against each other. He wants Americans fighting with each other. He doesn't want peace. He wants children traumatized because it gives him a story to report on. It makes him look like he's an important person. He ain't shit. He's a fucking clown. And if they use the KKK Act to arrest him, good. Because you know what the KKK Act eliminates? Judges. Judges who are standing in the way of the law being enforced. It's not about whether we think it's a good law or a bad law. If you have a problem with like the immigration laws and that kind of stuff, there is a way to get it changed. You need to contact your representatives and all that stuff. But understand this. There has to be laws about entering this country legally. Because it's the same around the world. Okay? There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. There's a right way to come into a country, and there's a wrong way to come into the country. This is apparently something that Don Lemon doesn't fucking understand. And I'm not just talking about America. I guarantee you. I tell you what, Mr. Lemon, I dare you to enter Iran illegally. I dare you. I dare you to enter Pakistan illegally. I dare you to enter Afghanistan illegally. I dare you. Just you. Don't bring a cameraman. Because, no. Just have a GoPro and all that shit, a little microphone, all that stuff. Just little brave Don Lemon entering Afghanistan illegally. Make sure you can record all the gunshots that hit you. ICE is not shooting these people that they arrest unless they pull out a fucking gun. Yeah, they're going to shoot them. But they're not. They're putting them in handcuffs and they're taking them to go through the process of being deported, where they can defend themselves. Okay, they're not just arresting them, taking them someplace, and they're getting on the fucking plane the next goddamn day. They follow procedure. Are mistakes going to happen? Yes. Like with any type of law enforcement, it happens around the fucking world. Mistakes happen. Okay, we're just human beings. And there's been a few, key word here, few mistakes. All right? I can't believe people think that this behavior is okay. I can't. I don't understand why people think this behavior is okay. All right. They think they're doing some grand noble act. No, you're just, well, no other way to put it. You're just being a bunch of fucking terrorists. That's all you are. You're just a bunch of fucking terrorists. Remember, there's never been any lasting change that came from a violent protest. It's never happened. It has never happened. People are going to point to a hijacking where the PLO hijacked a plane and they issued demands that I think like one of the demand is to be recognized as a nation, and people bend to that, thinking, well, they released the hostages. They didn't fucking release the hostages. They killed them. Then the PLO, they went back. The negotiators went back on that. I think it was Israel, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. And they went back on their word. Well, because they fucking killed everybody. And PLO was seen as a terrorist organization. And that lasting change lasted for about 24 hours. The only thing that happened out of that was the PLO was seen as an evil organization. Once again, the stupidest way you could change someone's mind is with a bullet. The stupidest way you can enact change is terrorize children. Don. It doesn't make you look good when you literally record you sitting there with someone going up to someone with their kids and seen, and it's on the video of the kids crying, of them being in fear. They weren't crying in happiness, going, "Oh, it's Don Lemon. Oh, my hero." They weren't fucking crying for that reason, buddy. And probably in your head, that's what you thought they were doing, because you're a fucking moron. I'm sorry, Don. That was a little harsh of me. I shouldn't have said that about you, Don. I should have said that you're just fucking retarded. Now, I mean that in the most insulting way I could possibly put it. Because only a fucking retarded person would think it was a good idea to violate people's constitutional right to practice their religion. Only a fucking retarded person would think that was a good idea. You're a fucking retard, Don. And here's another thing, Don. You're a fucking racist too. Because why did you go to like a mostly white church, Don? Why didn't you go to a black church, Don? Why didn't you go to a mosque, Don? Why didn't you go to a synagogue, Don? Because you're a fucking racist. That's why, Don. And you're fucking retarded. Let me go back to my notification. I'm sure okay, people like that one. I'm sure I'm gonna get blowback, but with this tweet, eventually someone's gonna 210 views. Yippee. I'll be honest about it. This doesn't really make me all that happy. No. Do I feel that Don Lemon is Don Lemon being held accountable for his actions? Yes. Do I think he's going to face hard time or like jail time or anything? I don't believe so. I'm going to be honest, because the justice system nowadays is so fucking broke. There's a lot of people that's sitting on that bench that shouldn't be, honestly, because they don't know what their fucking job is. They're thinking they need to make a political statement. No, your job is to enforce the law. If you want to make a political statement, well, run for office, not a judge. I mean, go run for the House, run for the Senate, or run for governor, whatever. But when you have that black robe on, you swore to enforce the law, not the laws that you like, but all of them. And Don Lemon has broken the law. When he entered that church on private property, the First Amendment doesn't protect him, because he's now persecuting people just for practicing their religion. The freedom of religion is far more important than the freedom of the press. The press is an organization. Freedom of religion is individual rights. The right of the individual is far more important than the rights of an organization. Because when we start oppressing the rights of an individual, of an American citizen, mind you, I know I'm going to get like, oh, what about the people who are being arrested? Well, they're not American citizens, so they're not protected by the Constitution. If they did it right way, they would be protected by the fucking Constitution. You know, the rights of an individual outweighs the rights of an organization, in this case, the press. Because when you start trampling on the rights of the individual, that's when freedom dies. And we've been allowing the rights of American citizens, black, white, yellow, Muslims, Catholics, Jewish people, to be trampled on by the press for decades. This anti-Christian stance didn't happen overnight. This is decades of sensationalized reporting. Yes, in the Catholic Church, there were priests that did some awful things to children. But here's the thing. You know, people make jokes about it. Where's your kids at? Oh, they're with the priest in the back room. I mean, it's an old joke, you know. But here's the thing. That is such a small percentage of priests. And how the Catholic Church handled it was wrong. I'm not going to argue with that. But I will argue that that was a small percentage of Catholic priests. All right? But the national media didn't make it look like that. Just like the national media makes all white police officers make them look like they're all racist. You know, y'all are being led around the nose like sheep. The point of national news organization is to prevent you all from thinking for yourselves. That's why people don't trust them no more, because you get a certain point when you start to get older. I mean, people in their 20s don't really question things for some reason. I don't know why. It's sort of like, the rebellious nature of them hasn't really kicked in yet. And then they grow up a little bit and they get married, and then they may have kids. And then you start noticing things in news about children, about what's happening in their neighborhood or their state that impacts their children's safety. Then they start noticing about their own safety, and they realize, hey, I've been fucking lied to. That's when you start questioning things. That's when they start questioning what they see on the national news all the goddamn time. When it starts to actually really impact them. Okay, when you're, it's nothing against you young people, really. It's just that you don't have the experience. You're not really seeing the impact it has on you, because, you got your whole life in front of you, and you have opportunities to adjust, to make course corrections when you're 20, 30 years old. All right. But when you get to my age, granted, I'm trying to do a course correction by doing what I'm doing right now. When you're 57, you're kind of looking towards the end of your life. Course corrections are a lot fucking harder. No, I can see the fucking iceberg. There's no time to turn. I can trying really hard to turn the ship right now. God, I hope I could turn the ship and miss the iceberg. Hopefully, I can do a really good job to the point where I never got on the ship to begin with. Yes, that's a Titanic reference, if those who don't know. Okay. Just say. But guys, should Don Lemon be free? No. He needs to face the consequences of his actions, because that's going to send a very important message across the board to journalists, quote unquote. They care about the truth. They don't fucking care about the truth. They care about being a symbol. All right. And some are going to try to make Don Lemon a martyr. Fuck him. Fuck you all. Anybody who terrorized kids, fuck him. A fucking retard. Let him go to court. If he able to get the charges dropped, so be it. But he has to face it. He has to. He has to answer why he felt it was necessary to enter a place of worship where people were sitting there peacefully, that he walked in there to disrupt their service, to trample on their rights, to practice their religion. And why he picked a white church. Why didn't he go to a mosque? Why didn't he go to a synagogue? Because those are legitimate questions, mind you. Why didn't he go to one of those places? Why did it have to be a white, prominently white Christian church? Why didn't he get up in a Muslim's face, ask him why he wasn't out there protesting against ICE? Why did he get up into a Jewish rabbi's, get in a rabbi's face Ask him why he's not out there protesting ICE. Why it had to be a Christian pastor. Sorry. Like I had any control over it. Sneezing. That's what I meant. Yeah, I like how trending, Don Lemon trending with former CNN, Good Friday. Yeah, today is Good Friday. No, kind of right. They arrest Don Lemon under the KK Act. They ban Hassan for hate speech. I love it when their weapons are used against them. Don Lemon when this is done. I don't fucking think so. I don't fucking think so. Me still waiting on Don Lemon to be arrested for violating the FACE Act. Oh, okay. Don Lemon arrested by Trump regime for doing no, he. Journalism is the pursuit of the truth, not the pursuit of making your opinions valid. That's all Don Lemon is interested, to make his opinions valid. Should be silent about this attack on. Jesus Christ. Oh, there's mine. I got 211 views. Yeah. Putting up work knowing Don Lemon is sitting in jail in a jail cell. Okay. That's a little funny. Don Lemon was just arrested by Trump DOJ. Trump is treading all over American rights. Statement from Abby Wall, attorney for Don Lemon. He just like to say Don Lemon when the guards tell him it's shot. Okay. It's not a blatant attack on First Amendment. Don Lemon broke a more important right, which is the right to practice your religion. Individual rights is far more important than an organization right. First Amendment or freedom of the press is about organizations. When you allow organizations to trample over individual rights, you lose the society lose something very important, which is freedom of the individual, which is if we want to go back to the days of slavery, that's the way to do it. So Don Lemon gets arrested for simply covering a church protest, but that creepy, illiterate MAGA Nick Shirley can try to break into day killers and terrorize children. There was no children in there. That was the fucking point. There was no children in this daycare. Don Lemon's allowed to go to instigate, get in people's face, practicing their right to practice their religion, which is protected in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. See, this is going to be an interesting case, to be honest with you. Who the judge feel whatever this is going, how it's going to be argued. What is more important, the freedom of the press versus an individual's right to practice their religion in peace? Are we going to allow journalists to basically do whatever the fuck they want without any kind of repercussions? They can break any laws they want without any repercussions. Okay, Don Lemon was not there as a passive bystander, just sitting there, standing. Oh, we're here at this church, standing outside the church, by the way, if there is a protest going on inside, he was in the fucking church and taking part of the protest, getting into pastor's face, going, "Why aren't you out there protesting nice? Yeah, we've got my microphone in your face." Interrupting people's right to practice their religion. Don't get on this noble high horse of First Amendment. Okay? You can practice your First Amendment. They could have stand outside that church and protest. They could have. And before the people would leave the church, the pastor would call the police officer, saying, "We have protests out there. We want to be able for our worshipers to leave here without being harassed." You know, freedom of the press does not mean you have the right to get into someone's face and shove their microphone in there, or basically terrorize them. Just ask the children of Princess Di just to see how they feel about that. Yeah, I'm calling Don Lemon. Actually, Don Lemon is far below the paparazzi, by the way. Like I said, he's fucking retarded. Attorney for my colleague and friend Don Lemon has released a statement saying Don Lemon was running by family lawyers and less outrageous. Can't say the First Amendment is unattacked in America. Where were you going? Yeah, they'll talk about it when it's like someone they like, but when you're attacking like conservative journalism, you kept your fucking mouth shut. Or when the First Amendment was being trampled on by just your typical American citizen, you were fucking quiet. Just because their political beliefs didn't align with you. Okay. These people here, like this guy here, okay? This guy here. This Jim Acosta. I don't even, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Independent journalist, host of the Jim Acosta on whatever. Former chief White House correspondent. All right. He's politically motivated by this, by the way. He's not doing this for like the good of society. He's doing this for the good of his political beliefs. Okay. Now where's his bias? Okay. Where were you when individual American citizens, regardless of their political beliefs, were being neutered? Their First Amendments were being neutered by a political party. You kept your mouth shut because it was the party you liked. When you do that, you don't understand, because obviously he doesn't understand. You can't go say First Amendment is under attack by America because he didn't care about it before. It's just because it happened to it's quote unquote, it's happening to someone you like. But it's okay when it happens to someone you don't like. Oh, you're a fucking hypocrite. That's nice to know. This is the reason why people don't trust you. All right. It wasn't fucking journalism. It was when you sitting there terrorizing kids. You're not a fucking journalism. You're a fucking abuser. Today is oh, fuck. Who's this person? My daughter's in a Parkland shooting. My life is there to reduce gun violence. All right. I'm not going to say too much about this person, but what happened to his daughter was tragic. All right. Tragic. All right. I will say that. And I sympathize with him. Because if it happened to one of my kids, God, I probably would have fallen apart. I don't know if I would still be breathing today, to be honest with you. It shows like incredible amount of strength that Fred Gutenberg is still around. Because, like I say, if it happened to one of my kids, I don't know if I'd still be breathing. I don't know if I could go on. But he has to understand. Don Lemon helped terrorize kids in that fucking church. He terrorized kids in that church. There is video of children crying in that church out of fear, because all these people, all these adults were sitting there yelling and screaming and saying hurtful, mean things when they just wanted to worship. I don't give a flying fuck who you are. That's wrong. Verbal violence can be as harmful as gun violence. It can have an impact on people. And Don Lemon has used verbal violence to instigate people to act violently. He isn't a journalist. He's an instigator. That's all he is. That's fucking funny. Federal agents where he was supposed to cover Grammys over his alleged role in. Alleged? He's on fucking film. There's no alleged. I mean, seriously, you're showing it right here. It's right here. You're showing it right here.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street and you start dragging them and hurting them and not.
That's a place of worship. None of these people are with ICE. None of these people are with ICE. They just wanted to practice their religion in peace.
Not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the civil rights.
Okay, if you're here illegally, you're not protected under the Constitution because you're not an American citizen. I mean, I know that sounds harsh, but you're not. The Constitution is to protect American citizens. Just because you step on American soil does not mean you're protected by the Constitution. All right? Yeah, if someone kills you in America, yeah, that person was going to get charged with murder, even if you're here illegally. Okay, it's not. And these people who are being arrested will still have their rights protected. They will have their day in court. Do we have to do that in America? No, we don't. We could just slap them on a plane and just fly them the fuck out of here. We don't have to give them a hearing. Like I said, the Constitution is there to protect American citizens, not illegals. Okay? It's done out of a courtesy. It's like, I'll use the example. Go to Japan. If you enter to Japan, you will be arrested and you will go to jail. There is no hearing. You're here illegal. You're arrested because you're here illegally. In jail. And you get deported. You don't go in front of a fucking judge. You don't get to sit there and defend yourself. No, you just go to fucking jail. That whole hearing thing, that's gone. It's jail. And then you get deported on your own dime. Or if you're so happy, if your country decides to sponsor your deportation, which most of the time you will have to pay back that country. Oh, for your plane ticket and shit. It's here in America. You guys, this is the funny thing. This is really funny to me because these people will have a hearing. They will go in front of a judge. They will have a chance to defend themselves. All that stuff. We don't have to do that. Countries around the world don't do that. They just jail, deported. There is no hearing. There is no hearing. There is no stand in front of the judge because that process happened prior to you being arrested. You don't get to go back and go in front of that judge. It's the judge has already made the determination. You have, isn't that right, Johnny? Yeah. You have been already determined guilty. Of being in that country illegally, and you go to jail to wait for deportation. Okay? That's not what happens in America. There's a hearing where you have a chance to defend yourself.
Movement was about. The civil rights movement was about these very kinds of protests.
Bullshit. Oh, Don Lemon needs to crack open a fucking history book. I don't give a flying fuck he's black. Like I said, he's trying to be a symbol. He's not trying to be a reporter or a journalist. He's trying to be a fucking symbol. The civil rights movement was about the oppression of American citizens. Being denied the rights that every, well, put it this way, denying the rights of every white American had. That's what the civil rights was about. It was about American citizens, not illegals. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Not the right of illegal immigrants. And I'm being nice by saying immigrants because for a long time it was called illegal aliens. We are humanizing this by calling them immigrants. But the key word here is illegal. They broke the law. There's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things, and they chose to do it the wrong way. And even after they got in here, they still had an opportunity to do it the right way. Even though they broke the law by crossing the border illegally, there was an opportunity available for them to do it right, to make it right. They just didn't do it. And that's on them. This isn't like the civil rights. Not even fucking close. You goddamn retard. You retarded person.
There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt.
There's federal laws, dude. Yes, there is something in the Constitution. It's called the freedom of religion. The freedom to practice your religion. And you're taking that away from these people. Mr. Lemon, you fucking retard.
To make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people
hopefully you will be willing to sacrifice your freedom for these principles that you're spouting right now. And God, I really hope that you lose your freedom, because this isn't fucking right. These people are just wanted to worship. You know, here's the thing. Okay, he brought the civil rights. Okay, this things that people have the tendency to overlook here about history. The civil rights was just not African Americans protesting. Okay, there was Jewish. The Jewish were very a force in the civil rights to help the Civil Rights Act to pass for Black Americans to get the same rights as everybody else. Okay, this is something that's very well known. That's something that's been brought up multiple times. That the Jewish people were, especially after World War II, were a force in part. Was a major force in the civil rights. Wasn't what isn't really talked about that much. It's the Catholic Church was in favor of the civil rights. White Catholic churches. Not all of them. Okay, there were racist Catholic churches. I will freely admit that. But the majority of white Catholic churches were in favor of the civil rights because they firmly believe in that you have the right to worship wherever you want. And skin color didn't matter. That bringing the flock together makes the flock stronger. But this fucking retard doesn't believe in opening up a fucking history book or doing his fucking research, because I really seriously doubt that Don Lemon can fucking read.
Uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortable people uncomfortably, this is a
Oh yeah, just, look, make sure you show that video when you were sitting there getting the father of two's face and the children are crying, Don. Because that's going to come out. Again, when you go to court, they're going to show that in court. How you terrorized kids, Don. I was just doing my job as a journalist. Yeah, making kids cry, apparently. So they'd be in fear. What else do we got here? Fucking moron. All right. That's, okay. Okay, let me say something real fast about the Epstein files. Okay, everybody thinks Trump was involved. It was like one of those people that did stuff on the Epstein Island. Okay, so far, everything that's come out has been that he didn't like Epstein. He wanted Epstein to go to brought to justice and all that stuff. That's a lot of that stuff has come out. Listen, I don't like Trump. Yes, I voted for him because I don't believe that a candidate should run for president that no one voted for. That's why I voted for Trump, because I don't want that to be something that happens. I think that's the worst thing that can happen. A political party just pushes someone out there to be a candidate because they didn't like the guy that the people voted for, because they didn't think he could win. Fuck you. The people voted for that guy. That's you. That should be who runs. Okay. Now you're stuck with it. Deal with it. That's why I voted for Trump. It's like if Trump tries to run for a third term, yeah, I'm voting against him. Because I don't want that to be a thing. You can only be president twice. You can't go on a 4-year vacation and then run for it again. I don't want that. I don't want that. He was arrested on the KKK Act where habeas corpus was removed, and basically the president made the decision to, arrest him. It's because they don't want to enforce the law. Okay. Billy Baldwin. Guy. Yeah. I can take a good look at California and how that is working out. Okay. I told people on Discord, because I bought the tickets to stream Saba, to see Saba and Mitt sing together, because that's something I really want to see. And because I like being entertained. Okay. They thought I was actually going to go to the venue. I was like, no, I avoid California like the fucking plague. I refuse to go to California. All right. Put it this way: if I was going to, because I want to go to Japan, okay, and I know I'm on the East Coast. I know I'm going to have to fly to the West Coast on a connecting flight to go to Japan. All right. If I want to take the short way, I'm more willing to fly from the East Coast to fucking London and take a connecting flight to Japan. Because I just don't want to fucking go to California. Right? I just don't want to fucking go there. It's not one of those places I want to be. I don't even want to fucking visit California. Okay. Because apparently, if you go to California, you become stupid. Just. All right. You openly admitting to depriving Don Lemon his First Amendment rights. He deserved to be locked up, not him. You're openly saying that these people don't have the right to practice their religion, which is guaranteed under the Constitution. For filming a protest. No, he also got in the pastor's phase. He got in the worshippers' phase. He disrupted their rights to practice their religion. Well, you never know. Bill Clinton may be arrested here soon. You call for Don. Okay, hold on. Let me see this. Holy smokes! Need to fire a response to Don Lemon. You call for Don Lemon's arrest. He called you racist, unhinged, homophobic, out of your depth. What would you say? Cocksucker, stop. Okay, let's listen to that. Let's listen to that. I want to hear it. I don't typically like Nicki Minaj.
You called for Don Lemon's arrest over his church stunt in Minneapolis. He's since called you racist, unhinged, homophobic, and out of your depth. Anything you'd like to say to Don Lemon?
Cocksucker, stop.
I think that's the best response yet. I think it's the best response. Yeah. Okay. Don't drop the soap. I mean, let's face facts. The government wouldn't have to use this if the judges do their job. Once again, individual rights is far more important than the rights of an organization. Freedom of the press is an organization. All right. You can't allow that organization to trample over the rights of people. I'm talking about the rights of people to practice their religion. The press has trampled the rights of individuals' First Amendment right, by the way. Where were people, where was the outcry for that? You know? No. All right. Okay, let me take a quick look at my notification. All right. Yeah, I think I have exhausted this topic, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. How many people are here? 2. Okay. I mean, I know this is not my typical format. I don't typically get involved or talk about this stuff, really, or make like a dedicated video or stream about this stuff. Okay, I know, but when someone terrorizes kids, I just can't fucking stay quiet. I just can't. I just can't. All right. No, he terrorized kids. He terrorized children. If I don't personally, if it's my belief, if you terrorize children, fuck your individual rights. You took innocence away from children. So fuck you. And no, once again, Don Lemon is a racist. He hates white people. That's the reason why he went to a white church. He didn't go to a mosque. He didn't go to a synagogue. He made sure to go to a white church, a prominently white church. They didn't do that in the fucking 60s, by the way. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. This song here, I played this at the beginning, and you watched a little bit of the video towards the end here, or the end at the beginning, which is on the channel is Relapse. They do a lot of really good music, by the way. If you haven't subscribed to their channel, please go subscribe to their channel. They do wonderful music. And if you notice, when I talk about certain things, let's talk about it. When I'm talking about an individual, I usually play this song because the loudest truth. All right. The loudest truth is that Don Lemon trampled on the rights, and it is a constitutional right to practice your religion. He trampled on that. That's the truth. Every person that went into that church to protest ICE trampled on the rights of those people that were there to worship, to practice their religion, which is guaranteed underneath the Constitution. Let's not fucking talk about that. I'll point that out. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, or leave a dislike if you want. It's up to you. But leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Tell people about my channel. This is not once again, this is not my typical content. I just felt compelled because I know that children were there, and they were terrorized. And that just pisses me off to no end, And I'll see you Sunday. I am gonna get offline. I'm gonna go watch some anime. Or maybe go look at the ovulation chart and have a good laugh. It's just, oh dear God. I am so tired of this shit. I'm so tired of people being fucking sheep and not truly understanding the law or why things are happening the way they are. They just don't want to see the truth. Okay. I mean, I can get all political and go that route if I really wanted to, but I don't want to. The reason I brought talking about Don Lemon, it's like, once again, he terrorized kids in a church. He trampled on people's rights. You know? That's what bothers me. That's what really, really pissed me off. And thank God he got arrested. Thank God. Anyway, well, you guys enjoy your Friday. Have a wonderful Saturday. This message is far more important considering what I just talked about. Just be good to each other. You know, just be good to each other. Respect each other. And I will see you Sunday for Cyberpunk when I'll be over this and we'll just have a fucking good time at that when I stream that. And I'll talk to you then. Okay? Bye. Oh, you